Hey, you guys, what's going on? It's Sinar, aka Sinar 2, on a collision course with.
Zombie from Addicted to Games.
So, you guys, this is our first podcast, our monthly podcast. Me and Zombie have been, we're both gamers and we've both been friends for shit. Fucking how
Since like
long?
'04, '05 on those next gen forums.
Yeah, what was it 360 gen or some
I
shit like?
think so, yeah.
No, no, no. Wait, was it? Yeah, it was 360 gen. Well,
Yep.
before we get into a little bit of our background, pretty much what we're going to be doing is a monthly update. I know some of you might be thinking like, why monthly update? That's that might be slow on the news feed, But pretty much for us, since we already have busy schedules, it's just kind of a good thing to kind of just muster everything together in one podcast of what happened in the previous month, and just to kind of just keep a record of what's going on because. This day and age, I mean, shit, zombie, it's just so hard to keep up. News comes out so
No,
fast,
yeah,
and
man. And it definitely gives us a lot of time to get our thoughts together on what we really think about the subject instead of kind of just, throwing the news out at people immediately and not even giving our own peace of mind on it.
I agree, exactly. And also we can kind of fizzle through like the major news and the shit that really doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah.
so what this podcast is going to be is pretty much just going to be a recap of Gamescom. Um, there probably won't be, really anything to top with the news that came out a couple weeks ago, well, last week of Gamescom for the
Yeah.
rest of the month. Well, I mean, we could be wrong. Fuck, Microsoft could announce something, big or Sony or Nintendo, but so
Never
this,
know.
yeah, exactly. So pretty much, just to touch on real quick, like I said, me and Zombie, we've known each other for over 10 years. I had met him on an old forum website called the 360 Gen, and I found that site by looking. I remember I was at high school and I was looking at conceptual pictures of the
Oh
Xbox
yeah.
360 before it even came out, and I remember like, oh, these are sweet. Look at these, and I ended up going to the actual website that hosted the pictures, and then lo and behold, that's where I met Zombie. And was your name Zombie in the forums, or
Yeah, I believe I still use the same name.
I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
Zombie or Zombie Elite, but
Yeah,
that's
something of the matter.
yeah. So that's where I met him, and like I said, pretty much we've been gaming ever since then. And honestly, I'm surprised this kind of didn't happen, sooner. I mean, like I said, I've had a couple of shots at doing podcast groups, and unfortunately, they failed or they didn't go well. And Zombie has his thing, and it just kind of we just kind of got together and we put our minds together, saying, "Hey."
Yeah, it's a lot to do it all on your own and edit and record and do everything, man. It's a lot of work. It's like a part-time job.
Exactly. Yeah, and it gets tiring, and
Yeah,
we play games as a hobby, not as a job. And that's where
exactly.
when we got just us two and being able to put our minds together and especially have a whole month to plan shit out, it definitely goes really good. So, I'm pretty excited and this is our first podcast for it. So, and I think I think we should call it Collision Course. I think that's kind of a cool name because you got two different, channels. Your channel is more, broader than mine. Mine's so bare bones, but coming together just with the news that how we take it, like what our thoughts on since we're going to be talking about Gamescom, our thoughts on
Exactly.
Gamescom, and then your thoughts on Gamescom and stuff like that. So, but I guess the first thing we'll get the small stuff out of the way. So since Gamecoms was last week, the biggest news that came out was the showing. What was you read? I think you were telling me that it was like one of the biggest
Yeah,
turnouts.
345,000 people, and the event itself was like a third of the size bigger than it has ever been since the conception in 2009. So
Holy
I mean,
shit!
it keeps growing and growing, and I can't imagine 350,000 people all within like a couple square miles or whatever. It's like it's fucking insane.
That's where E3 needs to seriously. They need to take cue because I remember when my biggest plan. I always wanted to go to E3, and since they closed it off to the public in 2006, um,
Uh-huh.
now it's just to journalists and
Yeah,
VIPs.
all the media.
Yeah, so I really think if E3 is looking at how well Gamescom was received and showed up, why not take a page out of their book? I mean,
Exactly, man.
seriously, I mean, it was nothing bad happened. There was like no fights broke out. 345,000 gamers in one spot is fucking amazing. That's all I'm saying. Because all those ideas and thoughts and experiences that happen there, man, that's a once in a lifetime thing.
Exactly. I definitely want to go eventually, but it's probably going to cost a couple dollars.
Oh yeah, I know. Me and my wife, we wanted to go to. Like I said, we wanted to go to E3, and especially with like different like things like Comic Cons, like different those conventions. I've always wanted to go one, and before I
Oh,
die,
same here, man.
one day I'm like, we're gonna go to E3. And I remember this was a while ago. I remember hearing, I forgot where I read it, but it was a couple that I don't know if you read it. They had snuck into E3 saying they were game developers when they really weren't.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, there's a whole excuse me, there's a whole article about it, and it was how they did it. Like they made like they had someone make like a 2 minute video of like just this game, real quick game that someone made. And so they brought their laptop with them, and then they made fake business cards. And next, thing you know, they said within an hour they were inside the E3, the convention center, the all E3,
Wow.
because they were able to make it look like they were indie developers.
Yo, it used to be so much easier, man, because that's what people would tell me. Like, I could create a website, and just because I had a website, I could get in. Now it's like, oh, you have to have references and
Oh yeah,
criteria. And it's like, holy
yeah.
fuck, is this a gaming convention or is this a business convention?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you have to have there's like you have to be a journalist. There's a certain amount of time you have to be in it. There's a certain amount of stories that have to be published. Then you got to have like 3 to 5 references. It's like,
Yeah, man.
damn, man, like what is this? Like you said, what's this business convention? Like I'm a gamer, man.
Exactly.
I run a gaming site or a gaming page. Isn't that good
Yep, yep.
enough? I mean,
Yeah, no,
that's like I'll pay the ticket. That's fine. I'll pay for the ticket to get in.
no doubt, dude. I have no problem with that. I just need to be able to get in.
Yeah, exactly. So well that's good to hear then. That's good to hear that they had that, that good of a turnout, and hopefully E3 will, kind of take cues from it and kind of
Yeah, they got to open it back up to the public.
yeah, open it back up to the public. So, but also before the night before Gamescom, uh Microsoft had announced a big kind of big news before Gamescom is, it's kind of like a Christmas Eve type deal present where they announced so Gears of War Ultimate comes out this month on the 25th. And so if for you who don't know, Gears of War Ultimate is Gears of War 1 completely remade. It's like how Halo 2 Anniversary was done. Am I right, Zombie?
Um, in some regards, because Gears of War is more of a major upres in graphics, but they kept the core gameplay the same, but they also made certain adjustments, which is what Halo 2 didn't do. It kind of the gameplay stayed the same, but it was just a graphical refresh. Whereas Gears, like certain little things that don't really play as well in today's day and age and don't meet players' expectations, they kind of modified them.
Oh,
I can't remember really specific examples, but it definitely sounds like they're trying to make it playable for the modern gamer ultimately.
okay. I remember did hearing a couple things like the multiplayer. Definitely, they added some things from like Gears 3 into it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Well, that's good. So, all right. Well, that's good to hear that it's not only a graphical overhaul but a gameplay over. That's fucking cool. But
definitely.
so that's what Gears Ultimate is, and that comes out on the 25th of this month. It's $40, and that was a day one buy for me. And what they
Uh-huh.
announced before Gamescom was the entire collection was going to be coming out with it for
Which is
free.
crazy, dude.
It is
4 games.
4 game. Well, technically five, and
Yeah, yeah.
no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Gears one,
Well,
two,
yeah,
three,
no,
four.
it is
Yeah,
4,
it is
right?
five. It
Yeah.
is five. You're right. Yeah.
Uh,
So it was so for $40, and what is if you play Gears Ultimate between August 25th and December 31st, you got the original Gears of War, Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, and Gears of War Judgment along with Ultimate. Yeah, so that's 5 titles for free. You were getting the original trilogy for free through because Xbox One added BC, which we'll get onto later, the
yeah.
backwards compatibility. But $40, and you're getting that's serious. Essentially, that's like the the Master Chief Collection. The only thing that would
Yeah,
be
dude.
different is the original titles. I think they play natively from 360, but they're just not up-resed. But
Yeah,
still,
so
that's fucking
it
crazy,
you
man.
still get that complete collection playable on the Xbox One. Yeah.
Exactly. We can you know like Master Chief, you can play all the Halo games. Well, one minus one of them, but you can play through Gears of War 1 co-op, Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, Gears of War Judgment for $40, and
It's
they're adding that
awesome.
in for free. That's a value, if you ask me, and you can't fucking beat that. So that's hearing about that. That was a big. That was kind of like holy shit. They announced that before Gamescom. What more do they have?
Yeah, man.
So that was before the announcement of. That was before Gamescom. Yeah, that was the night before when they announced that. So, and also I think from what I've been trying to figure out is the original collection. I had tweeted uh, Ferguson from the coalition who's making the game. I said, "Will the game original collection be available when Ultimate launches or when backwards compatibility launches in November?" And he has said when BC launches. But somebody else had rephrased my question and I didn't think about it. They said, "Will the collection become available when Ultimate launches for preview members?" And I'm waiting for him to tweet back for that. And I'm like, holy shit, I didn't think about that because
Yeah,
preview
man.
members kind of get things before.
Yeah,
So
like a month or two early.
yep. So if for the people who are in the preview program, if that happened, that'd be fucking cool. But I'm pretty sure if that was the case, that might have already came out. But who knows? It might still happen. So, so what else do we got from Gamescom?
Um, as far as Microsoft's thing, we got the Crackdown 3 with
Yes,
how they showed the cloud actually being used in a real way this time.
I tell you what.
Whereas s- single player, you can have like semi destruction. I don't really know what level they have there, but multiplayer, you can completely level buildings to the ground. You can level an entire city if you want, pretty much. And with friends is just going to be fun as hell.
100% destructible, he said. And I tell you what, out of all the cloud talk and stuff, having that footage shut up all those naysayers.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
me, I was never really on it or off it. I was just kind of like when I heard about it, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm excited to see when it eventually comes out. I mean, before the only things we had that take advantage of the cloud was the AI from Titanfall and the drivatars from the Forza Motorsport 5 and Forza Horizon 2. So I mean, it wasn't too crazy, but now, and what's crazy is Crackdown 3 has been getting so much media from game is getting so much attention from the media.
yeah,
It's like
man.
holy shit, man! Like you got different articles saying this is true next gen or next gen has finally arrived. And the thing is, it's not like it was Microsoft just talking about it. They showed it, and
Exactly.
it wasn't once. They showed it multiple times. I mean, there was off stage demos. There was a whole stage demo. I
Yep,
mean,
yep. It's just something that hasn't been able to be done before on a gaming console, and it's actually really impressive. And even when you talk about PC gaming, I mean, that level of destruction takes so much processing power, dude.
oh, I agree. Yep, I agree. And especially, from I think I read somewhere the guy said like no, since everything's being, computed from the cloud, like no pieces will fall the same at the same like will fall the same every time. Like all the pieces will fall differently. And I think they
Yeah,
said like the cloud adds like 20 Xbox Ones. It's like 20 times or 10 times more computing power than what the Xbox One can do. But
which is
like
crazy.
exactly, that's fucking nuts. But this is like we're finally getting that, and hopefully more games will take advantage of that. I've been on Twitter seeing people talk about, the biggest rumor I heard was, and this is kind of a coincidence. Somebody had said, I think his name's Tim Dog on Twitter. He had stated that he had heard a rumor about Sea of Thieves, since that game looks to be online only, that the water effects in Sea of Thieves, which is being developed by Rare, would be generated by the cloud. And it's funny when he said that, I'm like, wait a minute, why does that statement just sounds familiar? Because I had when you watched that trailer for Sea of Thieves, I remember the first time I saw it at E3, I'm like, man, those waters look really fucking, look really good. The way they're,
Yeah,
they're
man.
splashing up and the waves. I'm like, and then as usual, I'm like, but I know the final version won't look like that because
Mm.
they just look too real lifelike. When he said that, I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, that could happen. They can make the wave physics offload onto the cloud to have those realistic waves. I'm like, oh my god! Like I hope that happens. I fucking hope that happens. So, but
That'd be sweet.
it
No
would be.
doubt, dude.
And also for the single player, like you had said, I think I heard the single player will still have some destruction, but
They really
not
haven't talked about how much though, you know what I mean?
exactly
You could probably blow like chunks off a building, but as far as leveling the whole city or maybe say you level like a building, but when you run away from it and come back, it might just be back again, you know?
like a respawn.
Yeah.
No.
So
So, but yeah, no, that was cool when they finally they showed that and they showed in the gameplay and somebody playing it. That was awesome because then a lot of people just zip it shut them up right away, and those people know who they are. So
the proof is in the pudding.
yeah, exactly. And pudding and Coke and smile, shut the fuck up. So, but what else we got? I heard I saw a little bit of it. I know you brought up the Battlefront mode that during the EA conference.
Fighter Squadron. I always like every time I go to think about it, I always forget the name, but
I want to say
it
Rogue
looks pretty sweet
Squadron.
with the dogfighting battles, you know?
And that is pretty cool. I know the biggest thing a lot of people were upset was how there's going to be no big space battles in that game.
Yeah.
That's what kind of turned me off because I'm like, how can you have a Star Wars game with no space battles?
Yeah, that was kind of upsetting, but
But
eh,
to have this mode, that's pretty cool. At least it's something. It's better than nothing. You
oh,
know.
definitely, man.
Do you know
I
how many? Do
mean,
you know how
I'm
is it?
just glad to see Star Wars Battlefront come back after all the rumors over the years. It's actually happening.
Do you know how many? Um, like how many is it going to be? 8 on 8, 4 on 4, or
It's a 20 on 20 mode, so
holy
it's
shit!
yeah, there's gonna be a lot of gunfire and lasers flying everywhere, so
Damn, I did not know that.
yeah, it's a pretty big mode, man. It's
20 on
it's no
20.
joke.
Damn. But see, why can't they make that shit in space? Like, come on, man.
I can't answer that question, unfortunately.
Fuck, man. It's okay if you're gonna do it, then make it in space. Like, come on, man. And
Yeah, yeah.
hey, well, like I said, at least that's better than nothing. Who knows? Maybe I'll. I wasn't gonna pick it up, but maybe I will now. Maybe I will now, just to
We'll
be able
see.
to do that. Yeah, exactly. So, and then to the next thing, I guess for the whole Gamescom conference, like I said, you had EA conference. I don't believe there was a Ubisoft, was there?
No, it was just
EA.
Microsoft, EA, Blizzard, and
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
there was
Blizzard.
like a Call of Duty event, but it was just showcasing ultimately Black Ops 3 gameplay.
So there was no Nintendo wasn't at this Gamescom, and neither was Sony. The reason Sony wasn't going to be there is they are going to be at a event in a couple weeks called Paris Games Week. I never fucking heard of the thing, but supposedly it might be new. But all of a sudden, for some of the really hardcore PS4 fanboys, they never heard either until all of a sudden Sony said they were going to be there, and now it's like the best event ever. But who knows? I mean, so we'll probably I think, oh man, is it September or is it at the end of this month? Like I think it's or is it October? I can't remember
What
where it's going to be,
what's it
but
called again?
Paris Games Week.
Paris Games Week. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
nobody's
right.
fucking heard of the thing until all of a sudden Sony said it's going to be, and everyone's like, "Yeah, oh, I can't wait for Paris Games Week." It's like, dude, you didn't even
I,
fucking know about it until now.
for real, dude.
I mean, Gamescom is Europe's E3, so you get two. In my opinion, you have three big conventions in a year. You have E3, Gamescom, and then Tokyo Game Show. That's
Yeah.
my opinion. Now, speaking of Tokyo, we'll get to Tokyo Game Show. Might as well hit on that real quick.
As far
Microsoft.
as the date there, quick, the Paris Games Week, it says it's October 28th to November 1st. So,
Okay, damn. So that's holy crap. That's kind of a
yeah, month and a
little
half
halfway. So we'll
or
probably
two
have
months,
something
sorry.
planned. Yeah. But real quick on the Tokyo Game Show, Microsoft won't be there. And namely for what I think they said is just they I think it was pretty much they showed what they have for this year, which are two big showings. They had a badass E3 and a badass Gamescom. And I can understand I wouldn't go to Tokyo Game Show either because they're just not selling in Japan. There's
Yeah,
no if,
man.
ands, or buts. That's it. Why waste resources? They're not selling there.
Pretty much
Unfortunately,
they've tried and
they
developed games
yeah,
specifically for the market and it
yeah.
didn't work.
They
It
will never
didn't, it
they
sold, but that's it. Those
will
only those games.
yeah, they will never unfortunately, and Japan's changed too. I mean, shit, man, console sales in Japan are I guess kind of low.
Barely anything.
Yeah, and it's well handheld market. Most, is taken over
Yeah,
there. But
it's all mobile and free to play over there, it seems.
yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, so that was for Tokyo Game Show. Maybe we'll get a little podcast on that later on. But so we talked about the gears. We talked to Battlefront. How
The 360 games
yes, at backwards.
that are, yeah, that three Xbox 360 games with the games with gold program will be available on Xbox One from now going on. All the previous games won't be made available on Xbox One through the program.
So that
But
means essentially, like everyone's been saying from what I've heard about this, is we're instead of Xbox One getting two free games, we're going to be getting the two free games from 360 catalog. So technically, Xbox One users are getting four free games with Xbox Live Gold, games with Gold.
which puts it on par kind of with what people on PS4 have been getting because they get like 3 to 5 games or something a month, uh, various amounts each month. You know what I mean? But now Xbox One is on par with that if you want to put that on the checklist.
I did hear with the backwards compatibility, they were talking about they had I think at Gamescom they had a picture um, of all the developers that are on board with it, and there was a lot. I know right off the bat I'm trying to remember, there was Rocksteady was on there, Capcom. There was a whole bunch, but when I saw Rocksteady, that kind of made me excited because I'm like, sweet, I have Batman Arkham Knight, uh, which is the one that just came out, and I haven't really got into it too much.
Uh-huh.
I never played the previous ones, but if Rocksteady is in support of the backwards compatibility, that means Arkham Asylum and Arkham City can come to be seen. Then I can play those games and kind of learn the story and everything. So I thought that was kind of cool when I saw that. But there was, they I think what do they talk about? They talked about they have a lot of um, just they're in talks with a lot of developers that are strictly on board and that will make the games free. They don't charge you for the backwards compatibility, and they announced it is coming out in November, correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure on an exact date, but it's coming out in November for sure.
Yeah. I know for premium members. Are you a premium member or I can't remember. I think I've sent you,
Not
didn't I?
anymore because I have relatively slow internet nowadays, and it was more of I didn't feel like updating almost every day. It seemed like every time I turned on my Xbox, I'd have to update, and it would take me probably 15 minutes, you know. So say
Okay.
especially when it's one of those times where you just want to play for like half hour to an hour, and you turn it on, and then your console updates and it's like okay that's not bad but then my games would have to update and I mean it
Yeah,
would
I see
take
what you
me
mean.
too long with my relatively slow 10 meg internet.
Yeah, no. So yeah, like we're now with the premium members. I think we have like 25 or 28 games available for us to play. Like I was able to play Mass
Yeah,
Effect on um on the um from the backwards compatibility, and that's one of my favorite games. So I played that, and
yeah, it's
you know
definitely a good program,
also to real
don't
quick
get me wrong.
to announce on your since you're talking about internet connection, from what I've been reading, Crackdown 3 for that multiplayer online destruction. I heard they're aiming for for you to have connection between 2 and 4 megabytes, which is I know you have 10, and sometimes you said you're around 8, so you can
Yeah,
still
on peak
play.
hours,
So two to
yeah, I'd
four
still be
is
fine.
it is 2 to 4 is really good. I had some assholes trying to say, yeah, the average American's only got between 1 and 3. I'm like, dude, no, they don't. That's like the beneath the
when
1% of Americans, man. Like
yeah
literally one
yeah
to 3 megabytes. And if you, like, I'm not saying there isn't,
Uh-huh.
I know people have not very good internet. Unfortunately, your internet's not too good.
Yeah,
But
man.
I mean, there's all different ways, and unfortunately, if those people can't, that's 2015. That's how things are going. So, but just to touch on that really quick, but no, like you're saying, yeah, Games with Gold definitely is a great program, and it definitely puts more incentive on getting Xbox Live Gold and being able to get those free games and stuff like
Yep,
that,
yep.
and entices a lot of people to jump forward with the Xbox One backwards compatibility. And they said I think over 100 titles will be available at November when the backwards compatibility launches and stuff.
Gotcha.
But they talked about Xbox One DVR. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Oh yeah, the television DVR, yeah.
Yep. And I mean, I don't watch. I don't have cable, so it really wasn't a big deal for me. I really didn't care too much, honestly. But I,
How
from what,
exactly does it how does the program even work? Like, do you
it's gonna
literally
be.
just
It's
plug your cable box into your Xbox One or something? Like,
you'll be able to record through your cable box and over the air. So that's kind of
hmm.
a cool thing. Since it's over the air cable, you can record that. And they did come out and say you do need an external. You won't be able to do it with the hard drive.
Okay, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, the 500 gigabyte or 1 terabyte. And that's understandable. I mean, if you're recording shows, you're going to have a lot of people out there that are going to leave like 50 gigs worth of TV shows on their DVR system and not worrying about it. You also be able to carry your DVR anywhere with you, your shows, since you'll be on the external. It's
Yep.
going to be free. It's a free service. It's not nothing you had to sign up for or
Which
pay.
is really nice.
Yep, yep. But like I said, it was pretty cool. They showed how it worked. Like I said, it's really not a big deal to me. But Mike Ibarra was on the stage and he had talked about how that was one of the lot of requests was, I guess, in the community feedback was having the DVR ability. So that's cool that they brought it. That I guess it must have been a big calling for it. And
Yeah, it's one more feature that will bring people to the Xbox One. Because honestly, I do see quite a few people on my friends list that actually use the TV features with their Xbox Ones,
oh
which
yeah,
I didn't even realize they did.
yeah, I know. I have my sister-in-law, and then I got my buddy of mine, Weapon. He watches movies all the time and stuff like that, and he watches shows, UFC fights. So when I told him about it, he was pretty excited. He was like, "Oh shit!" So
That's
he was
cool.
happy about that. Um, I guess we can go on to the big things for the games that Microsoft showed. Uh,
Um,
we talked about
you,
Crackdown 3.
yeah,
Um, well,
Halo Wars 2 I was gonna bring up.
yep,
I
they
was at the end of their show.
Yes, it was. And that was, I'm telling you, man, a company, listen, I always say this. I know companies the bottom line is to make money. It's for Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo,
Yeah,
Valve, Steam. The bottom line is make money. But
it's a business. Yeah,
I've never seen a company so involved with their fan base. It's, it's crazy. I mean, seriously, we've all been asking for Halo Wars 2. I mean, I played
yeah.
the shit out of Halo Wars 1. I have all but one achievement. I ain't never gonna get that last achievement either.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, and I played the shit out of it. It's a fun game. They made it really well. And then in some of the studios, unfortunately, went under when it came out. And then with this one, Certain Affinity's making it. The people who made Alien Isolation and Total War.
Uh,
Seriously, man, what it's in.
I I really like the first one though, honestly, because I used to play RTS games back in the day, and it always seems like to get really good, I had to spend an insane amount of hours, and if I didn't, I just didn't know the right strategies, and people would evolve theirs and just own me by the time I came back. You know what I mean? So, Halo Wars was just a more of an easy RTS as far as the basics of the gameplay, but once you got into it and whatnot, it advanced itself in ways that are kind of hard to explain, you know?
Oh no, I agree. Yeah, and it played well. And the good thing is when they made it on Xbox 360, they made it to fit perfectly on with the controller. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It fit
it
well.
wasn't a port. Yeah, it was meant to be a console game.
Boom, exactly. And so that's where I played it all the time. But man, when they and like, I'm just shocked they were able to get Certain Affinity to do it because right now they're a really big developer, man, and
Yeah.
it's in good hands with them. There's going to be some co-op. I mean, it's going to be a fun as hell game, and just to kind of explore more on that Halo lore, and that was cool when they showed that. I flipped my shit. Like I was at work and I jumped up. I was like, yes! Like I had to be quiet. I had my hands in the
Yeah,
air.
right.
And so, but it's going to be cool. And I think that comes out fall of 2016. So that comes out next year. And
Yep.
I'm like, man, dude. So they must have, Certain Infinity must have been working on that literally right after Alien Isolation came out last year. They had to have started working on it right away.
Yeah, pretty much. Or it was already in early stages of development as far as prototyping and uh, developing the art style and whatnot like that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. What else? So they had Halo Wars 2, and then we talked about Halo Wars, Quantum Break. I mean, not Crackdown, Gears. We'll jump on to Quantum Break now. Holy
Yeah.
shit, man! That's all I gotta say.
Every time they show the game, it looks awesome. I mean, the time bending mechanics mixed in with the shooting mechanics, it I don't know, it just looks good.
It does. I mean, they've showed this game for what, 3 years maybe, and it's looked
If yeah,
better and
man, a
better.
while.
And usually
Exactly.
when they show a game the first year, it looks amazing. Then it gets downgraded a little bit the second time, and then it kind of falls off the bandwagon. Like some
Yeah.
games like Watch Dogs. But this game, hold,
It just it proves that Remedy is a AAA developer. Whether a lot of people like to just put them on the side because they don't put games out as often, but when their games do come out, people recognize. I mean, Max Payne 1 and 2, Alan Wake, and now Quantum Break. I mean,
well,
and it's
even Max
already
Payne
got a
3.
shitload of buzz about it.
Yeah, I mean, I
Was that
never.
them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure what Max Payne 3 was them, wasn't it?
Hmm. I'm not sure. I thought because Rockstar had it at that time, so
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah, that might have been.
yeah,
Shit, I
I'm
can't remember, but no, yeah, like
yeah,
Alan
yeah.
Wake and Max Payne, and you're right. Like, and I think somebody had an article somewhere. I didn't read it, but they also have a live show coming out, and it's kind of. I think what they're doing with this is what they're doing, how they did with Alan Wake. Remember how Alan Wake had those mini little episodes that led up to the game,
Uh-huh.
and they were like what, like 5-10 minutes each, and they were kind of creepy
Yeah.
at times. But I think they're doing that with this, and the main character is now. I forgot his name, but it's Bobby from the X-Men movies, Iceman. So he's the main character now, and
Okay.
he came out on stage and stuff like that. But they showed a quick snippet of what the TV show, which would be integrated with the game, and I think that's what's going to happen with this one. What they did with Alan Wake in the TV show or episodes, I think they'll do that with this. They'll have these short episodes to kind of coincide with the game. So, but man, the gameplay for that, man,
Absolutely
make
awesome as
me
far as
hard.
third person games go. It's changing it up without just adding more cover mechanics.
You're right. I mean, how they were able to just the effects when everything slows down, or when, man,
It's
like
all so fucking seamless,
it
dude.
is like it's smooth, and it's like, man, that game's gonna be fucking sweet. That's a day one buy. Now that comes out, and they did give a release date for that, April 5th, 2016. So
Nice.
there's there's our game, or one of our AAAs for the beginning of 2016 for all you assholes that like to say there ain't no games coming out. So, anyways, but yeah, no, that definitely looked awesome. So I would definitely give that a shot if I were, for you listeners. So yeah, so that was Quantum Break. And then they showed. Finally, we got to see some gameplay of Scalebound.
Oh yeah, that's
What
right.
what did you think of that?
It's definitely a Japanese game.
Yeah, definitely JRPG.
It looked kind of interesting though, because just it's like you have this massive dog dragon ultimately alongside of you that like obeys your commands while you're fighting alongside of it. It's really kind of interesting, you know. It's like man and beast working together.
Yeah, it definitely looked when I saw that. I mean, the game looks beautiful. And I know it's from the
Oh, no
developers
doubt.
Platinum Games who made the Bayonetta game, and I know it's an Xbox One exclusive. Um, I know just from what I saw, it was cool. The I mean the game that comes out holiday 2016. So I mean it looked cool, and whether it's a buy for me, I don't know. I might have to see some more. The gameplay looked kind of simple. There was looked like I don't know when you saw it when you were watching it. There was a little bit of a slowdown in the frame rate, but I'm guessing since it's so
It,
early in the
yeah,
make,
I'm about to
we got
say
a
an early
whole
build. Yeah,
the game comes out. So, but that and then the biggest thing though with if there's a reason why I buy the game, it'll be the four-player co-op, which they
oh
showed
yeah,
at the trailer. You have the four-player
which
co-op.
is always fun, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And where are there better place to play it on? Probably on the best gaming network, gaming infrastructure to be Xbox Live. So, I mean, they have ginormous dragons flying around, four-player co-op, fighting a big dragon or whatever, So, but that was cool. That was good that we got to see that, and that's gotten a lot of people are excited because it's a JRPG, so
And
open
it's a
world,
new IP.
new IP exactly.
Yep, yep.
Yep, it's an open world JRPG. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but and then I guess move on to last one they showed was oh no, they did show some Halo 5 for
Yeah,
games for this year. They showed some Forza 6 and Halo 5.
it was a
Um,
little bit more of what they've already
yep,
shown
yep. I
for the
think they just showed
most part.
a multiplayer level. I think they showed a new
Yeah,
multiplayer in
yep.
Warzone.
And with Forza, they announced the or showed off nighttime and rain racing a little
Rain.
bit.
Speak real
Yeah,
quick. Today I was searching up Forza 6 and I thought the water effects were kind of like from Forza Horizon 2, just a little bit of water on the windshield and stuff like that. But and then I had heard about this puddle, their new puddle effect they have in the game, like 3D puddles that will really affect the way you drive. But whoa,
yeah,
no, I was completely wrong. When the water's on that windshield, it's literally like it's flying past with the wind, like it's going on the side, and like if you hurry up and make a cut right, all the water will cut to the left.
yeah. The
It was
water is being rendered. It's not just there as a surface. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And when I saw that today, it was on a show floor demo. Like somebody was
Yeah.
playing it and somebody was recording it. I'm like, holy shit. Now
They
I
said they actually went and modeled after the track. Like I get, they probably waited till it rained, and and I don't know how they captured it, but focused on where the puddles actually sit in real life and modeled
oh,
that in game.
like so let's say if they're in Nürburgring, after it rained, they went and scanned where puddles actually accumulated on the track.
Yeah, and
Shit.
somehow rendered that in the game. I don't even understand how that tech works, but apparently they're making it happen.
That's detail for you right there, gamers. And
Oh
for all
yeah,
you resolution whores, that's a 1080p 60 frames per second locked in that game. Forza
no
5
doubt.
proved it can be locked, and this one with all the video footage, I wouldn't be surprised if this game's already gold. I know it's not. I mean, well, it's probably close to going gold, but the game already looks like it's finished just from how well it's being played and received. So, but and then like I said for the Halo 5, they just showed a new multiplayer map and
Yeah.
I think a new level for Warzone. So, and they announced real quick a special edition Xbox One console, controller, and a special headset from Astro. Did you take a look at that?
Yeah, it definitely looked pretty sleek, man. I like how they incorporated a lot of the stuff from the game, especially that like blue chrome or whatever that kind of reflects nice and
Oh,
light.
yeah,
That actually looks pretty sweet.
that did look sweet. Yep, I like the way that looked too. I know the controller looks pretty. I think I'm gonna pick up the controllers, but the pricing I had me a little thrown off. It's $500. It is the 1 terabyte, but I think the reason why it's 500 is because it comes with the $100 edition to Halo 5.
Yeah.
So that's why 'cause I was like, man, why the hell is it $500? But I guess it does come
Yeah,
with the
you're getting a custom console controller game and you know what I mean? So you're getting a nice amount of for your money.
yeah, yeah, it definitely looks sweet. So, but they had they announced that, and then the Astro headset actually looks really really cool. That was it's pretty much I can't remember. It's the same. It's a wireless headset. It's the same. I think it was like the M80 or M18 series wireless headset from Astro, but it's all decked out in Halo 5, custom stuff. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's running for 220. You can reserve that, and you can also reserve the special edition controllers, which has the Spartan Lock controller, which is like all silver and blue. I'll post pictures of it, and also a Master Chief like green and gold on the controller. So, and those both come out. I think those come out before the game does on the 20th. October 20th is when they ship.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't mean you'll be able to play the game right away.
No, you'll just have a code that will be activated on the day the game
Yeah,
releases.
yeah. So, but but on that though, I guess the last game we went to, they showed some new and beautiful looking Rise of the Tomb Raider gameplay.
Yeah, they they definitely expanded on the core mechanics as far as like stealth and whatnot. They really showed that off too, sneaking around in the bushes and taking people out one by one, kind of. Whereas the first one seemed more of an action-oriented game, this one incorporates stealth, which is
Well,
I'm kind of interested to see how it's gonna play out.
from what I've been reading and kind of looking at, a lot of people say it looks like you can do both, but Laura is definitely a lot more violent in this one
Uh-huh.
than she has been. And they showed some of her takedowns were straight up brutal, man. So that's where, they're
They really
definitely.
went with the darkness on this one.
Yeah. And for the game looked beautiful. I think I read the developer said that the game is 3 times larger than the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. I
Oh,
read that,
nice.
yeah. And they just said there's going to be a lot more tombs in it. And I'm trying to think what else. But they showed some gameplays. It was at nighttime. Everything just really good, looked good. And the cool thing, everything looks very familiar. It looks like they didn't overhaul like the mechanics, not the mechanics, the like the menus or anything too much, which is fine with me because how the first Tomb Raider was set up, it was set up really well. It wasn't too confusing or anything like that for me. I don't know about you,
No, it
but
was a relatively simple game, but it had mechanics that you kept wanting to involve yourself in. It never got boring.
yes, exactly that, exactly. So they showed a little bit of the menus and stuff like that, and that comes out. Comes out. I think on November 10th against a really big game. I know this wasn't at the Gamescom, but just kind of a note. This game comes out the same day as Fallout 4.
Yeah, the
So
17th. Yeah.
no, the 10th. They both come out the 10th.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless 17th for Fallout 4 might be Europe. I know November 13th is Europe for Rise of the Tomb Raider because
Okay.
during Gamescom at the end of the trailer they said November 13th, but then when Xbox Daily did their little interviews, Major Nelson was interviewing Brian Horton and he said it comes out November 10th in the States, November 13th in Europe. So, and
Sweet.
but those are two. I mean, that's a completely different side thing. Those are two different games, But more than
Y-
likely, Fallout will probably destroy it in sales. That's a given because it's
Probably.
being
But it doesn't mean people also won't buy Tomb Raider, so
yeah, exactly. I mean, me,
just
I'm I'm
not in that
I'm not
just
in
not as many.
I'm not into Fallout. I'm never have,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely going to be getting Tomb Raider on day one once we're able to reserve that digitally. So, but other than that, though, I mean, we covered pretty much everything from Gamescom.
There's a couple small things I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
The new Hitman game, they announced that all DLC, um, for however long they support it, which they're saying up to 3 to 4 years, is going to be completely free as far as what I understood, which is really pretty impressive.
Holy shit!
And they
Really?
also say not going to be any microtransactions whatsoever. So they're really trying to break back into the gaming scene with Hitman this time.
Tell you what, that trailer they showed at E3 was badass. You know, it was a CGI trailer, but I liked how it
Yeah,
looked up. Now, is
I
this a
wish it would have
remake?
showed off a little more, but it definitely caught my interest, no doubt.
Is this a complete remake, or what is this? Is this?
Um, I think it's like a more of a reboot, I guess, because it's not continuing a story that he's already done, and the character it's himself looks like they reimagined his facial structure, if you want to say that. So I mean, it seems like they're just trying to go for a new take on the series ultimately.
Well, that's good then. Shit, that's good to hear then.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And one more thing was Fallout 4 will let you keep playing after the story ends. Um, but as they added on to that more by saying that there's no level cap, so you can just
Oh,
kind of you can just keep going, building these buildings and just level up and level. Obviously, it'll probably get harder and harder, but for the people that want to be hardcore and, oh, I'm level 300, I'm level 1,000, they'll spend years and years in this game just because of that.
I did hear that I think Bethesda came out and said that there's over 400 hours of game content in
Wow.
this game. Over, not under or
Yeah,
equal, over 400 hours. That's like, damn. And if people thought The Witcher was a lot,
I
I mean,
know, dude.
damn, 400
I
hours. I
can't
mean,
believe
different.
these games keep getting bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Nuts.
So, but that's really all I got. Is there anything else you got? I mean, anything else you want to
No,
bring up?
that's it. That's all I got on my list.
Well, that was a pretty good first Collision Course podcast. I had fun.
Definitely.
So I hope
Good topics.
yeah, definitely a good time. We spent well shit Gamescom. That man, that took me a week to recover after
Yeah,
Gamescom
man.
since I
It's
got
always a lot of news to take in from any gaming event.
yeah, exactly. So, but so if you guys like what you heard today, go ahead and you can subscribe to Addicted to Games, or you can subscribe to me, which is just Signer 212. We'll leave the links on both. We're gonna upload videos to both our pages, so you guys can subscribe to both of us, or you know, and so hopefully you guys like what we're doing. I think really that's all I got. Zombie, you said you don't got anything else?
No, that's it for today, I believe.
All right then, cool. That was a good one. All right, you guys. This was Collision Course with Sinar, aka Sinar212.
And Zombie Elite from Addicted to Games.
All right, you guys. You know what we say? We said, sit down, relax, settle in. These buttons don't push themselves. And what else, Zombie?
And as always, game on.
Take it easy, everybody.
Let's go. Am I?